So this week we're talking about Black Swan. We're talking about 3 sets from these guys. The Warblers, the Pockets, and the Worms. The Pockets, we have the full set, there's only 3 in it. The Warblers, there's 8, and the Worms, there's 5 or 6. So we decided to put them all together and do a fairly big review and set some fairly big routes. Now, one thing that has to be pointed out very quickly is after our first Black Swan review, which was quite harsh, Dalton Swan has a pair of balls to send us more holds, and hat off to the guy for doing so, because he's come back with a product that is way and above 1000% better than what we saw the first time, and you know, a lot of respect for him. So this is one of the Worms. It's actually quite a large hold, 2 hands quite easily, very nice dimpled grooves all the way through for your fingers. All of these shapes are actually shaped by a guy called Donovan Craig, who's an up and coming shaper. Keep an eye out for him because he's going to be a big name. All the holds have a Black Swan logo, and these guys do have non-pre-drilled set screw holes, which we've put a couple of screws in and they're a little bit tight, but that's the only complaint. Inset washer, and if you look at the sanding, considering the hole is quite big and this guy is running out of his own garage, is actually really good sanding. So this guy, 2 hands, you know, you're looking at 2 pads all the way across, same way up, 2 pads. It's, even though it looks like it's quite in-cut, it's the grooves that actually give this guy its feel. Quite a fine texture, gives you an awful lot of grip even when it's chalked up. Hey Zook, what's going on, motherfucker? Are you reviewing holds? No? Okay. No. He loves holds, that cat. It's weird. That's why there's always cat hair on the holds. So number 2 is this guy, a little bit of a smiley. Again, 2 hands, easily matchable. The grooves is what's giving it. It's not totally in-cut. Some of these, this guy here is in-cut, but most of them aren't. It's actually kind of an interesting, kind of strangely Waco feeling set of holds. Both sides, you're looking at pad and a half on this hold. Number 3, again, if I clean it off, look at the shiny logo. So shiny. Number 3, again, easily matchable. Way more in-cut this time on that side, and you're looking at pad and a half. But it's very in-cut. The slopes do go in, so you can really get your hands on it. The other way, it's kind of flat. You're looking at about a pad all the way through. Again, you can match the hell out of it. Now, pockets. Pockets are quite interesting. Pockets are either good or either bad. Too thin, not in-cut enough, you know, they're very injury-prone shapes, and these are called the Pawkets. P-A-W-K-E-T-S. All the holds are named after birds or bird apparel. You know, birds eat worms, these are called the worms. These are called the Pockets. They're not parakeets, they're Pockets. These guys, 1 hand all the way through, in-cut on the lip, and you're looking at about a pad and a half for these guys, but 4 fingers all the way through. You can chuck them up onto the 45-degree wall, even up onto the 60 if you're fairly strong, and you have really no problems with them. The only problem I have, as per usual, is kind of like, alright, you have to make your product look a little bit different from other stuff on the market, and there's all these slashes in the shape, which, to be honest, aren't really needed. But it does in-cut. If you look at it, it in-cuts really well, and it's super comfortable. Number 2 for the pockets. Until the back of this guy, where it's been agitated, some of the bubbles have actually popped. Again, 4 fingers, less in-cut than the first one. But you're looking at a pad, just about a pad and a quarter, and you've got these really nice thumb catches, and this is maybe where the lines are actually meant for. You can get some nice thumb catches just with the lines and the sculpting into these holds, but they're really good. Other way up, which I didn't do for the other one, because the other one's pretty useless the other way up, you're looking at 3 fingers, 4 if you squish them, and you're looking at a pad, and it's fairly flat and just a fairly standard pocket. But it means when you get through and you're training on them, you can get a really nice undercling if you actually move up underneath it. So number 3, again, 3 fingers on this guy. You're looking at pad and 3/4, maybe 2 pads on this guy, all the way through. It's very deep, not in cut, but it's nice and flat, and it's again a very, very solid hold. The thing about these shapes, you know, they're not dual texture on the outside, is you can, on all three of them, because of these slash marks, you can actually grab around them on the outside, and sometimes, depending on how you're setting, you can actually just not use the pocket, grab the outside of the hold and go through it. You know, I know that Donovan is a very training orientated person, and it's kind of where they fall down a little bit. They're the most comfortable pockets we've seen in years, and they're really, really great holds, but as you can get round them for a route setter, maybe for a competition, if I can just grab around the outside like this, I'm gonna, which is the way it goes. And then we come to the warblers. Now these are by far the most standout set that we've seen from Black Swan. These are pure training shapes, just brilliant, brilliant training shapes. When we pull them out of the box, there are some pretty kind of fairly sharp edges on all three of we've got, and I think there's 6 or 8 of them, sorry. We felt like, oh man, you know, they just sent us another set with another sharp edge. Here's what's weird, is these shapes, think of them as cubes that have been slightly twisted. These shapes work really, really well, and they're probably some of the best home wall training shapes kicking around, because there's a lot of versatility to them. You know, this guy, if you look at it, in cut, scooping through to nothing. Slightly in cut, sloped with a slight ridge, and then almost completely flat. So you can grab it over the top as a side pull, you can grab it as a little edge, you know, as a flat edge, as a slightly sloping edge, or as a scooped edge. Every single time you've got a fun catch because it's nice and big, and they're just really nice. Even with this edge, which is slightly rounded, a little bit sharper, you'd think it's gonna dig, but this doesn't dig. It's actually really nice. The way the holds are designed and the way you grab them is probably some of the best grabbing holds around right now, and it's really nice to see, and I want the rest of the set. To be honest, I'm gonna have to go buy them because they're really good holds. Number 2, again, look at it. In cut, you're looking at about a pad on it. Go the other way, you're looking at a pad, way more in cut. Again, pad and a bit, your fingers just fall nicely onto the edge. And then the last side, you're looking at a pad again. You know, but you've got some really nice, weird pinching options. You've got some nice, you know, so you've got some nice, you know, side pulls with your thumb on top. You know, these holds are very, very, they're squares. They're twisted squares, but they're very, very versatile, and they're great for training on. And then there's this one, which is actually probably the most evil one out of the 3 of them, and actually probably the most evil one out of all of the holds we're looking at today. If you look at it, you're looking at about, half pad, and it gets slim. You're looking at a pad all the way through, just about 4 fingers. You're looking at a pad sloped, and then slightly in cut. You're looking at just about 3/4 of a pad. But again, you can just get on it, and you can side pull on it. These and this guy, when you do get on it, because it is so small, you can get a really nice meat of your palm catch just here. It's really nice, and you can just quite merrily do whatever you want with it. The warblers are really good, and the price is really quite cheap. For 8 holds, I think they're running around $50, $55. Dalton's going to be running a discount on all of these holds, all of these new sets. There's going to be a discount. So we're looking at the warblers, the worms, and the pockets. Pockets, great home wall holds, really nice, friendly, get your pocket training on. The worms, interesting, a little bit Waco, but they're really nice holds. And the warblers, go and buy them. That's it. Peace.